welcome back to my channel. So here we are, the end of 2021, and I'm here for my yearly favorites. I was so looking forward to making this video for you guys because I think 2021 has been the best fragrance year for me ever throughout my entire collection. It's the year I found the best deals, I think. It's the year I found the most amount of unicorns, and I really didn't think I'd be able to top the year I found Gucci too, because that was so many years in the making. But cumulatively, I think this year was incredible in terms of fragrance for me, and obviously it's added to it so much because of you guys and my channel and just sharing with this fragrance community that we've built and that all of you are part of has been the best. So without getting too mushy, I wanted to get right into it. If you haven't subscribed already, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. And I wish you all a very happy New Year's as we head into 2022. I have some exciting things planned for next year on this channel, so definitely keep watching. So as it's the end of 2021, I thought it was fitting to pick the top 21 fragrance purchases I've made this year. These aren't necessarily fragrance releases in the year 2021 because honestly, that's just not how I shop or wear fragrances, but these are all fragrances that I've picked up over the past 12 months and that I've worn, depending on when I've gotten them the most. So these are just really my favorites. They aren't in any particular order. Once I'm done with the 21, there are some honorable mentions that kind of don't count, but you'll see why. They're different and separate. Hint, 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 nudge, nudge. It's a Zara thing. And then I will get to some non-fragrance favorites at the end. If you guys are interested, it's makeup and books, actually. Yeah, so without any further ado, let's get into it. So this past year, one of the really special things that's happened to me in my collection is that I found a new signature scent, something that really blew me away, that I shared with you guys and made it kind of clear that while it isn't my signature scent because I own hundreds of fragrances, if I were to get rid of everything, this would be the scent that I would keep. And so I thought it fitting to start with that because that hasn't happened to me probably, this is only the third time in my life that this has happened to me, I think. And that is a Bulgari fragrance. Here she is. This is Rubina from the Le Gemme Réali range. I love this scent, you guys. I mean, it really goes without saying. It was truly a love at first sniff. I think this might be the one I will spray because I don't have, I think my fragrance has rubbed off from before. So I love this. I mean, it was love at first sniff. It blew me away. It's floral and powdery and ambery and medicinal. It's like all the best things I ever loved in every aspect of like my fragrance collection in one scent, and yet it's not overwhelming. It lasts a long time. It's like those two sprays were probably too much. You really only need one at a time. This will last me a lifetime. It was expensive. That is what I'll say. The 100 mils, especially the full size like this, but it is beyond worth it to me. The packaging on top of the spectacular scent that Bulgari has created, like I will actually lose my mind if they ever discontinue this because I can't imagine ever being without it now. Like this is beyond anything else I've ever smelled until now, my favorite of all time. So I really do hope, even though I don't have a signature scent, that people who know me in real life start to associate this scent with me because I just think that'd be the most flattering thing in the world. So they aren't in any particular order, but I had to put this one first. This is number one in my eyes, obviously. Then we will move on to some Guerlain fragrances because there were actually 3 this year. that I was really, really excited to pick up. So the first one is terracotta. And I already knew that this would blow me away and that I would love it before I picked it up. This and the next one actually were full price purchases, which, you guys, is very rare for me. Like very, very rare. But I kind of bit the bullet with this one and the other one because they are pretty hard to find, and when you find them online, they're never really on sale. I know it's harder to find in the States. In Canada, you guys, we can find it at Shoppers, but obviously it's not going to be on sale unless, you know, you do it with Optimum points or something. And if you are a summer fragrance lover like me, you really need this in your life. It is very strong as well, and I feel like the white florals in this, like the jasmine and ylang ylang and everything, they really aren't a joke. And I know people that are very turned off by it because it just kind of can have a quality of overwhelming you unless you are a die-hard white floral beachy fan. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The one really big letdown with this, because I love the bottle and I love the scent and I love Guerlain, is this part of the packaging is just a very cheap sticker that honestly you can like rub off the gold of, and you can see the glue on the other side. So I just think that should have been an engraving, and I know a lot of people feel that way. So that is what I'll say. And I'll follow that up with the other one that's kind of not similar, but in the same sort of packaging, and that's Meteorites. I had spent way too many years putting off this purchase, and I was just terrified that it would become harder to find. Again, I bought this full price at Shoppers. I just really wanted a full bottle. I wasn't about to get a decant and just add it to my collection. I love this. It's really reminiscent of the Meteorites powder, obviously by Guerlain, but I would say this has a fruitier opening than I was expecting, like a kind of apple powderiness. I prefer the Heart and Dry Down because it really loses that apple. And from what I've heard, the more original formulas didn't have that, but I still really like this. It's very soft, very me, love it, and doesn't really have the projection and lasting power of terracotta. So it sits a lot closer to the skin. So anyways, love those two. And then the last Guerlain fragrance, which is my favorite, and again, one of the best finds I've ever had this year. I was so happy during my travels to find L'Instant Magique, or I never know how to say this in English. I think it's just L'Instant Magique. I don't know. L'Instant Magic Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. I've been recommended this by you guys so many times. I actually do think I'm gonna spray it. Whatever. And I could never find it. It's very, very hard to find. What I did learn though is in Europe, you really can find it a lot easier, at least in Southern Europe where I was traveling. It's not like here in North America where it's truly nowhere. So if you are in search of a perfect Guerlain violet, like powdery violet, and you've already done Insolence and all those fragrances, give this one a try. It's truly leaps and bounds better than L'Instant de Guerlain, which I've owned for about 2 years now. This is the incredible one, so it's so weird to me that this is the one that's harder to find. But yeah, love that. You guys were totally right, and I'm so happy to have it as part of my collection. Then, this is more of a recent purchase, honestly, but it's a Byredo purchase that I wasn't expecting to fall so in love with, and that's Gypsy Water, because when I first tried it years ago, it really was nothing particularly surprising to me or interesting. I just thought it was so hyped up for, you know, what it was. And I have not been able to put this down. I wear this all the time, especially at home. I find it so comforting and actually a really underrated beauty, and I can appreciate it a lot more now compared to when it first came out, because the hype on this and the name, okay, whatever, I'm spraying everything, really did completely ruin it for me personally. I really like this. I think it's a really beautiful unisex scent. It's unique in its own way. It's a little earthy, a little bit spiced, and yeah, I've really been enjoying Gypsy Water by Byredo. Okay, so the next three are actually all Tom Ford, because this was the first year actually that I started getting full bottles of Tom Fords that are like part of the exclusive range. I'd always ever had, like, I'd had his other fragrances as more affordable fragrances, but for the more expensive fragrances, I've always just had like samples or decants. But this year I got 3 of the actual bottles by Tom Ford, and all 3 are in my top 21, honestly. So I'll start with the one I like the most, and that is Tobacco Vanille. I was one of the lucky ones to snag this up for a really good price online, but I mean, I really have fallen in love with this. I think it is a favorite of Tom Ford's line for a reason. I've been wearing it year round, even though I would say I'm liking it the most in fall winter, obviously, but I wore it in spring summer as well. I am slightly scared that I'm going through it quicker than I would have liked, because I can't see through it, but I feel like where the juice is and where it's colder. So anyways, I'm just gonna enjoy myself and actually enjoy the bottle, because I've really warmed up to this. It's a beautiful, soft, slightly sweet, like tonka vanilla tobacco scent. So I love that. The other 2 were actually really exciting finds for me as well. And I was just really happy to have them. And they're more of like the spring summery ones. So the first one, Sole di Positano Acqua. I loved this, you guys. First of all, this is one of my favorite colors, or it's my favorite color. Like blue-green shades are my favorite. And this, all these like Italian Tom Ford city, like landscape or town fragrances are all absolutely my type. They're all very much like citrusy florals, and I fall in love with all of them. Like, there actually isn't a single one I don't like, so eventually I'd like even more. But this was an incredible find again. I think this one I got maybe at STCO, and the other one I got at a Marshall's, I'm not sure, but anyways, love that. And then the last one is Neroli Portofino Acqua. Yeah, I think this is the one I found at a Marshall's, and I couldn't believe it because I never find Tom Ford's there, and so I obviously had to snag it up. I was so happy to get it there. I've yet to see another one since, I will say. It was just like a one-off lucky moment, but really happy to have that one as well. Then I got a really special fragrance for my birthday, a gift to myself this year from arguably like a top 3 favorite house of all time. And I knew what scent this was. Like, I didn't go into it blind, so it was an expensive but a really nice gift for myself. And that was, if you guys would remember, Lilac Love by Amouage. This is again one of those moments where Amouage just knocks it out of the park. There is something so unbelievably uniquely beautiful about this. It's got like this cocoa powder, but soft, powdery, floral. Everything about this is unbelievably beautiful, but you think it's not going to work because the notes seem random, and it seems like something I wouldn't be absolutely over the moon with, but I love it. It's stunning. The lasting power is A level on their game, as Amouage always is. So I was really happy to pick that up. Another favorite I was finally happy to add to my collection, because I finally finished the Jardin collection by Hermès. I need to do a video on that if I haven't already. I have to check. But if I've done it already, because now my mind's all over the place, then I will link it. If not, leave me in the comments below and remind me that I need to do this. But this was my favorite from the line from the beginning, and this was the last one I picked up, as is the way. So I was happy to honestly get it in 100 ml. It's perfect. Like, I just love this range so much. If you like florals and you like unique takes on florals that aren't just generic smelling. I think Hermès did the most beautiful job with this entire range, and the Mediterranean one is my favorite by far. I think it's stunning, absolutely beautiful. Again, one of my favorite colors. And the last one on this section before we get to the other half was surprising, but I cannot believe it's part of my top 21. It's C by Armani. This was a fragrance I thought I hated, and I picked it up because it was for a great deal actually at Costco. And I can't stop wearing this, you guys. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's already a dent in this. And if there's a dent already in a few short months, you know that I'm really loving it, because I have so many fragrances. It takes ages for me to get a dent in a new one, but I just love how juicy and wonderful the scent is. Like, the juicy side of the floral is something that I really, I guess, forgot or just underestimated. I love it. I think it's so, so stunning, and I've been enjoying it so much ever since I picked it up. And every time I feel like I don't know what to wear, it's one of the ones I reach for. So we're gonna move to 2 or 3 unicorns that I've actually been really happy to find. So the first one, and I put it in this little decant, is Florida Water. Florida Water, it's not that I couldn't find it, but this was one that I kept putting off, and I kept wanting to pick it up in person. I just had it in my mind that I'm like, the next time I go to the States, I'm just gonna pick it up in person. I don't wanna order it. Lo and behold, obviously with the pandemic, that became harder to do, and I finally just stopped putting it off and I picked it up. I'm so happy that I did. Mine is in kind of like a refillable huge jug. So I did put it in this 30 ml decanter for myself. I love it. It makes me feel just really energized, but at peace. There's obviously 1,000,001 things that spiritually you can use this for, and I've been reading up on their website, and I really just like that side of it. I think it's really beautiful, and why not try to give as many positive vibes as you can? So very happy to have that as part of my collection. The second one is the Temps de Neige by Lorenzo Fioresi Firenze, and this has been on my wish list for so long because I was told it was the be all and end all, the perfect powdery fragrance of all time. And honestly, it is. Like, this has blown me away. It was love at first sniff. I think it is so one of like the epitomes of what a powdery fragrance can be, and a clean powdery fragrance, a really musky, clean scent. I don't think it's for everyone, and I don't think it's for the faint-hearted or as a first foray into powdery fragrances, but if you like them a lot, if you're in love with them like I am, then you will adore this. And the last unicorn I want to mention is actually a celebrity fragrance, and it's the only celebrity fragrance which has made the top 21, so that's saying something. And this is Truth or Dare by Madonna. It took me ages to track this one back down. I don't know why Madonna discontinued her scents. This and Truth or Dare Naked are some of my favorite scents ever in my collection, not just celebrity scents. So I really think she can't do wrong. I think it's a beautiful white tuberose, super, just not jammy, but super just like decadent smelling and thick. And yeah, absolutely love that. And I had so many replica scents join my collection this year, but the one that really stood out to me that I have to give credit where it's due is By the Fireplace. I was putting this off for so long because I'm like, it's okay, it's nice, but why is this all the hype? I picked it up and I reach for it all the time. It really is beautiful. I've started to wear it to bed as well because it's just so comforting. Like, it's really everything. The hype is real. I think it's a beautiful scent, and Replica once again really knocked it out of the park with this one. So it's got a really beautiful like burning wood, chestnut, like smokiness, and yeah, absolutely love that one. All right, so the next one's actually a tea fragrance, and you guys may remember I have always been very much into tea scents, but this one blew me away, and it's my one and only Oolong Cha by Nishane. This, you guys, this is a masterpiece of a tea scent. I love this. It's an extrait de parfum. It really does last longer than every one of my tea scents because my tea scents dissipate so quickly. That is the thing I like the least about tea scents, is how usually light they are, and they're usually mixed in with citrus, as is this obviously. But this is a really beautiful one. I love it. I can't wait to wear it even more in spring. I feel like this is gonna be a really beautiful one in spring. I have tried Matcha Meditation by Maison Martin Margiela, because you guys have recommended it, obviously, knowing how much I like tea. I love that one. That's it's more of like obviously a green tea matcha scent. But again, it has nowhere the lasting power of Oolong Chow, because just tea scents just don't last. And that one is no exception, but this one certainly is. Next, we've got My Way by Giorgio Armani. This was another one I picked up at Costco, so got it for a really good deal. Full bottle, adore it. If you like grapey scents, you will like this. If you like orange blossom tuberose mixes, you will adore this. It does get, I wouldn't say it's my favorite of the grapey scents, but because it doesn't go fully deep, like synthetic for it, I think it's got still a touch of the floral side, whereas some of the other ones, like Jean Paul Gaultier, I'm thinking, tends to just go deep for like a sweet and sickly sweet almost. So I just tend to prefer that, because I just love when orange blossom and tuberose get bubblegum and grapey, but this is a really beautiful one and a little bit like a touch more floral. Next, speaking of Jean Paul Gaultier, this is I think it's called Essence du Parfum. Yeah, this is the classic Essence du Parfum. This showed up, because it's a hard one to find, on Fragrance Buy, and I snatched it up. I could not believe I found this. I was so happy, and it's become one of my favorites in the range. Jean Paul Gaultier, you guys, this year has also really like been boosted up as one of my favorite houses. Again, maybe top 3, definitely top 5. Like if there is a scent by them that I don't own, I pick it up. And like, I'm picking up so many of the Classique Belles, even the Le Males. I don't think there's been a single scent that I've tried from them that I don't like, aside from Scandal, the original Scandal. But even that, like if that's the worst that house has, they are just so in sync with my vibe. So yeah, I love them. Then we have Pure Musk by Narciso Rodriguez. This I actually have to give props to my cousin for, not the one you guys are familiar with, another one, because it takes, like, people in my life who aren't fragrance lovers, which is everyone in my personal life, never really get the it's not a matter of being cocky or anything, but their recommendations for me are never like on point. Either I've obviously already had it, or I've loved it for many years, or it's not my vibe. But I don't usually get recommendations from people I know in real life and then agree and be blown away and shocked. But this was in her collection, and she said it's her favorite scent, and she's going through bottles of it. And I was like, really? Like, I love Narciso Rodriguez, but I mean, I was like, okay, not thinking anything of it. I bought it immediately after hanging out with her. I love it. Like, she was totally right. It reminds me of her every time I wear it, which makes me miss her all over again. And she was totally right. I love this scent. It's a very soapy, clean, super clean, musky take on the Narciso musk, which I think is an interesting take to take, and it's a little bit more different than the cubes, which tend to be closer. Yeah, this is a more clean take, so I love that. So happy she recommended it. Second last, we've got Casanova by Tiziana Terenzi. This is my first from the house. I will spray it on this hand. I felt like I really wasn't expecting much, or I was really nervous about it. And this is still one I feel like I'm figuring out, and yet it's part of my top 21. Every time I wear it, I feel like it smells a little different on me, which rarely happens with scents. So I just have to give props where it's due. It's interesting. I think it's a little bit more unique, and every time I smell it, it smells different, like I said. So I love that. And then finally, the last but certainly not least, this was and remains as one of the best scents I've ever smelled. I am addicted to it, truly addicted, and that is Lune Féline by Atelier des Arts. You can see there's a considerable dent on it. I wear this scent as if it's a body spray. Like, the amount of sprays I spray on myself, because I just want to drown in it. I know that there are people that get like a burnt rubber scent, or that this really doesn't work for everyone. I would say with every Atelier des Arts, more than any other house, don't blind buy, because they're very hard to guess how you will feel about them. But this is one of the best things I've ever smelled in my life. Like, I'm addicted. So definitely part of my top 21, and again, part of the best fragrances I've ever smelled in my entire collection. Okay, so we finished with the top 21. Now we're gonna get to the little honorable mentions. Like I mentioned, I didn't want to add any Zara, Jo Malone or Zara scents in my top 21 because that whole collecting the Zara, Jo Malone, Zara scents feels separate to me. And that was like a whole little journey that you and I and everyone went on together. So you guys know how I feel about that collaboration in general. I will always do videos for you guys, as many as I can find. And so I wanted to pick my favorites from all of her collections. And while I was doing that, I realized there is one other Zara scent that is equal to those for me. That isn't Jo Malone, but it is a perfumer that worked with it. I think it's Nathalie Lorson, and that's Musk 004 by Zara. Oh my God. It's stunning. I mean, it really is kind of like a candied, sugared almond, powdery scent. I need to wear this more. I honestly don't reach for it enough, but every time I do, I'm like, what am I doing? This is beautiful. I love it. I wish it lasted longer. I feel like it doesn't have the best lasting power, but it is a really beautiful one. Then the top 3 I've been loving this year by her Jo Malone Zara collections. Rose Petal Drops. I love this scent. I literally could not believe how good it was the first time I smelled it in store. It is so, like, it's got what some people might say it's like a Delina feel, but I feel like it's more so not so much Delina. It's just like, if you like Delina, you might like this too. It's in that same family, but they're not dupes. It's a really beautiful rose. There's a little bit of tartness, a little bit of candiness to it. I love it. I think it's spectacular, and it's so worth the money. Like, this really does smell more expensive than it is. Another one, obviously, is Rose Marshmallow Candy. You can tell I like rose candy scents. This, again, really blew me away. The first time I smelled this, I was like, this is a scent I don't own at all in my collection. I've never smelled anything like this in terms of a fragrance, but it smells like the most delicious floral candy. And I'm upset that it only came in these 40 mils because I would buy like a 200 mil of this. I think it's wonderful. It's already impossible to find, as with these Zara collections, but if you ever find it, pick it up. And don't trust at all that it's in like the kids collection, because I think it's more sophisticated than they're giving it credit for. And then finally, the last one is Magnificent Dubai from her most recent collection. I've still kept it in the box because I've kept all of them still in their set. I love this one. It's really probably one of her most unique scents that she's ever come out with Zara. It's a really beautiful oud that is particular in its own way, and I think it's really, really stunning. So love that. Okay, so now we're gonna get to the beauty products. So the first one I have to mention is my favorite mascara this year. For many years, Too Faced Better Than Sex was my favorite mascara. It still is one of the best mascaras ever. I will say this year I've been wearing this one more. So I have to, while I really do love that one and it still might be my favorite, this year's favorite is Damn Girl by Too Faced. I think they get me. I'm a volumizing mascara person. It does have a very similar brush. It might be the exact same brush, actually, the Hourglass brushes, which really work for my lashes, but I have long lashes. So I prefer a volumizing mascara that almost gets on the verge of being clumpy, and this one does the trick. Other beauty favorites, I feel like this year was the year of glosses for me. I was really more into glosses than lipsticks by a long shot, and I had to share my two favorite gloss formulas. So the first one is Plump Your Pucker lip glosses by The Balm. I got the entire collection. Both of these, I will say, when I fell in love with the gloss, like I fell in love hard. I got the entire collection of this. I love it. They are very pigmented. You really do get the color that you see in the glass, and they're as pigmented as a lipstick, if not more, but they're glossy and they're comfortable, and it's not like a liquid lipstick. So I love that. For more of like a juicy lip, it's what I've got on today, more sheer colors. I posted this on my Instagram, so definitely keep an eye out. I got the entire Lifter Gloss collection by Maybelline. They have hyaluronic acid in them. They're so juicy, so comfortable. They're kind of hint, hint, nudge, nudge, a dupe for the Fenty glosses, but I like these better and they're way more affordable. So love that. They're my favorite, probably my favorite gloss ever at the moment. And the last beauty product is actually, in general, butter products by Physicians Formula. That is my favorite range at the drugstore ever. I love everything they've ever come out with, but my favorite item this year by them is the Butter Dream Team face palette. So this is what it comes with. It comes with two bronzers, the Muru Muru, just the regular butter bronzer, and then the Minoi butter bronzer, which these all smell so good. A butter blush and a butter Believe It blush, sorry. The face powder, which I love under the eyes. It's super brightening, and a highlighter. And I feel like I can just, I mean, I have like every single one of their products anyways, but this is such an easy to go travel thing to just take with me, and I use it all the time. And then finally, I wanted to share two books that really stood out to me, one more fun and one more serious. So the fun one's actually by a fellow YouTuber. I used to watch her way back in the day when I was like a preteen, and that is Brittany. I forget her name now. Brittany, let's see here. Brittany Louise Taylor, yeah. Brittany Louise Taylor, if you ever used to watch her, she just made like funny little skit videos. She had a very harrowing personal life story, and I'd heard about it on videos online, and I just really wanted to hear it from her personally. It's not for the faint-hearted, and it's definitely a really emotional story, but I was always interested in getting her book and actually just finding out from start to finish what she went through. So a sucky love story. If you ever used to watch her, or if you heard about her whole journey with that relationship and her child and everything she went through, it's really actually terrifying. But if you've ever been interested, I do recommend to just hear it from her personally. And the more serious book, not that that's a fun story, but I mean, that's like a nonfiction. The fiction story, the best book I read this year is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro, and this is actually, it was the winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature, and I can see why. This was an incredible, insightful, and unique book. I was so taken on a journey with this, and I don't even want to spoil it. I don't even really want to say particularly what it's about, but it does have a sort of AI, so artificial intelligent aspect to it, obviously, and so there is that element to it, but I wouldn't say it's like science fiction, because I don't like science fiction, and I loved this. I really, really recommend it. Take a look at your local bookstore and see if it's for you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this very long video of the favorites of 2021. I've so enjoyed making videos for you guys this year. Again, Happy New Year. Let me know in the comments below which one of these items, fragrances, books, or anything you've tried or you'd like to try. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will see you in the new year.